Hello, hello. I feel really inspired right now to share about why I chose to free birth. And I want to say that I haven't even heard about free birth until I was already in my second trimester. I didn't even know that was possible. I honestly thought that you have to be with someone, especially a midwife, if not a doctor, to help you give birth to your baby, as if you have no idea how to, right? And once I heard about it, it felt really intriguing to me because up to that point, I kept going to my midwife so full of anxiety and so constantly asking for permission to birth at home, to if I can do it like this, if I can do it like this. Like, well, it's like I was constantly looking for questions to ask and make myself feel small, as if intuitively I didn't know anything about this. And then I realized that because I was pregnant for a second time and I was still a solo mama, I felt ashamed and I felt like I needed to keep telling people that, it wasn't that I didn't do it on purpose, and like, look at me, I'm in this situation now. And I kept making myself feel small. And then once I heard about the free birth and then I started studying it, I thought, okay, you know what? If the midwife insists that she's not very sure if I can have a home birth because there might not be anybody available to come for a free birth, I started thinking, okay, if a midwife is not present, then maybe it's fine since I'm studying about free birth, which doesn't require a professional. And I'm just gonna be surrounded by friends at home. And not only the friends that I invited, someone suddenly decided that we do not share the same values and she no longer wanted to be my friend. And that was not even just about free birth, it was about pretty much everything that I was. And then a couple who are very dear to me told me that they are very anxious about my decision and they're very afraid, and they don't think it's very responsible of me to do that. And yeah, they didn't want to be a part of it. And I kept thinking, like, okay, who could be here for my birth? Because I have an older daughter, right? She was 4 at the time. And I thought, how am I going to do this? Like, I need someone with me. And then seeing how, like, everything was kind of starting to not... I didn't feel like I actually am gonna have someone, or it wasn't very sure anyway. I even had 2 doulas that I talked to that told me that they're also very anxious about this and didn't give me the reassurance that they will be there for me. I thought, you know what, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario, it would be that I'm gonna give birth by myself. And then I started to prepare for it. Like, I thought, you know what, it would be a bonus if there will be someone there with me. But if it's not, then I'm just gonna prepare mentally to give birth by myself. And that's what I did. I really studied hard about free birthing, and I started to feel so confident about it that honestly I wasn't even excited by the idea that I would have someone there with me. I didn't want anybody there with me. Like, I got so much more fascinated by the idea that I could witness my own power by doing something like this, by being alone in the room, and to see how I react when I'm not observed by anybody. Because I felt like if somebody would be there, I would want to outsource my power from them rather than rather than really be with myself, really be in my body, really listen to what I need, really go through it. And I remember my first birth was in the hospital, and I really, like, I put all of my, like, I thought they know what to do, right? And I was let myself be guided by them, and it wasn't the greatest experience. It wasn't a horror story like I've heard from other women, but it was also, looking back, I felt violated, and I felt like they sabotaged my process, which made it much longer, which then made them pressure me into going to another room to perform extra I don't even know how to call them, I guess extra help. And then that was the moment when I screamed back, no, I'm doing this. And I did it despite the fact that my body didn't feel quite ready yet, because, you know, ideally, you should cultivate calm in that time. You should be as calm as possible, like very low lights, nothing that creates adrenaline in your body, because when your body feels adrenaline, then it will shut down the birth process to protect you. So then, of course, that my birth process kept becoming longer and longer, and they were on a clock, right? So they wanted to push me to birth already, which I do not want anybody to go through that, but I know that still happens every single day, because we've been brainwashed to believe that we can't do this without the help of a professional. But just as we became pregnant, the body knows what to do. The body knows how to give birth. The baby knows how to get out of the birth canal. It's just natural. Like, even animals do it, you know. They just hide in a hole. They go somewhere where they can feel safe. That's what we need, just to feel safe, to be in a space where you're safe. And I feel like the hospitals are the least equipped to do that. They're equipped to show you that they're the hero. They're equipped to show you that they know the knowledge of saving you, when you actually don't need savings. They actually sabotage the whole process. That's my view on it anyway. And yeah, I actually eventually gave birth by myself in the room. I did have someone in the house with my daughter to put her to sleep, and then I had another doula who believed in free birth, who honored my desire of just, I wanted to be alone in the room. And I told her that I had this little bell, that I would ring the bell for her to come inside if I wanted that. Otherwise, if I would have made any noise, I didn't want her to just come in, because I knew that I'm gonna make noises. Obviously, I'm gonna give birth. I'm gonna probably scream or moan or maybe panic. I did panic, actually. There was a moment where I said out loud, I don't know if I need help. That's what I said. And then she didn't wait for the bell, and she came in the room, and I'm like, wait. No, please. I don't need this. I need to be alone, because I realized in that moment she couldn't have taken the pain away, and that's what was the most intense feeling. And yeah, maybe she could have held my hand or something, but I knew that I didn't want that. It would have taken away from the experience of actually sitting with myself and going through it and really discovering my own power. And it was the most empowering, as intense as it was the most empowering and beautiful experience ever. And I know that if it will ever happen again to be pregnant, I'll definitely choose to birth by myself again, unless there's this super amazing partner that I feel so safe with and so held, and maybe that would be a different case. But otherwise, I'm so ready and happy to birth by myself because I trust my body. And how, my God, thinking how, again, how anxious I was at the beginning and how I was giving my own power to someone else that had no idea what to do with it. I followed my intuition to go to Brazil. So I was pregnant. I was kind of like feeling anxious and not knowing what to do and asking for permission continuously from my midwife. And then I just felt this urge. I needed to go back to Brazil to reconnect with myself, to be in the sun, especially after being a lot in this gray, wet England. Yeah, I had this, like, it felt so strong. I felt it so strongly in my heart that I needed to go to Brazil. And I had no savings, I had no money. But, you know, when, like, every time I set my mind to do something, and it's really, really important to me, and I'm so passionate, I'm always finding a way because I'm resourceful. I am a resourceful person. And I made it happen. And then I remember I came back from there to my next midwife appointment, and the midwife could barely recognize me. She was like, "You're radiating. Look at you. You're like I was feeling on fire." And especially I was also learning about the free birth, and then I started to refuse any checkups, anything, no heartbeat, no nothing, because I thought, you know what, I feel okay within myself. If I am okay, if I feel okay, I'm sure my baby is okay, because otherwise I've always been in touch with my body, always, and always feel when there's even something slightly wrong. So how could I not trust that? And I trust someone else with tools that might not even take they will take this moment in time when maybe, I don't know, I didn't drink enough water in that exact moment, and just judge my whole pregnancy based on one single moment. No, so I refused that. And because I refused all of that, and I still kept in touch with them because I just felt like, I don't know, it felt weird to suddenly cut contact with them. And I didn't know exactly how it would work. Like, would they just come to my home to not let me free birth? Or I didn't know exactly what will happen. They knew that they knew that I'm quite keen on doing this by myself. And in the end, they were okay. But they did tell me that in case I do want, I am going to ask for someone to come, because they haven't made the checks. They would have still taken me to the hospital because they didn't know what to expect, like how safe or not it would have been. And yeah, no, I was very, very certain that I'm gonna do it. And I've had many people saying, but what if this and what if that? And the two doulas that I actually talked to that were very anxious for me, they put me in touch with, we had kind of like a live call with this other doula who apparently has assisted free births before. But they didn't give me a heads up that this specific doula had her own bad experience with free birth, and she ended up not having a free birth and then ended up having a C-section instead. So she just suddenly dumped that on me, and I, like, without any consent, and obviously it just made me like, oh, like, what if? And then I had to work with myself and remind myself why I want to do this. And just like I manifested many things in my life, I worked on, like, really training my brain to not look for all the wrong things and all the wrong things that could happen, all the negative things that could happen, but instead think of all the positive what ifs. Like, what if this will be such an amazing birth? What if I'm gonna give birth to this healthy, beautiful baby? What if I'm gonna have the most orgasmic birth? Or all these beautiful positive questions. And I filled my home with affirmations, and I did meditations, and I just kind of like blocked every negative opinion, everything that was creating anxiety or projecting their own anxiety onto me. And that's how I managed to free birth. I think it's really important, and to be selfish in that moment. Like, if anybody, no matter how close they are to you, if loved ones, friends, family, or whoever, if they don't believe in what you're about to do and they project their own fears onto you, I think it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to not want to let them project their own insecurities and fears and objections and anxiety onto you, and block them, or just ghost them, or whatever you want to call it. Don't let them in such a vulnerable time of your pregnancy, when you're going to be more susceptible to anything that is negative and make you feel anxious and make you feel like, I don't know if I can do this, because of course this is not just you, it's you and your baby, so you want to feel responsible, you want to feel like you love your baby, and then you might listen to them thinking that you're doing something crazy, but in reality you're doing the most loving thing you can do, to listen to your own body, to your own baby, and everyone else, can be quiet and then meet the baby after the baby's born. I highly recommend that if you want to free birth, research, do your own. This is all about mental fortitude. Like, work with that, work with your mind, and work on training your brain to look for all the clues that this will actually be a successful story and a beautiful story, rather than all the what ifs, the wrong what ifs that might actually materialize just because your attention is there rather than there, right? Just like when you drive, you're not gonna look at the tree, you're gonna look straight in front of you where you want to go, because you don't want to end up in the tree, right? So yeah, I just wanted to share this. I hope it's helpful for anyone listening. If you listened until here, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.